take you back in
Every Friday.
It's time to go back. Let's go.
Welcome to the Savvy Radio Show with your host, Savvy Landlord. Up next is the best deal ever on Fridays. Check out all episodes on Savvy Radio Show. Let's do it.
All right, it's Friday. Yep, best deal ever. Fabulous Friday. You know what the deal is. I finally closed on the deal. What deal? Yeah, you're like, what the deal? No, all deals. You should be closed. You should be excited when you close, right? Cookies for closers, coffees for closers. Go back and listen to episode 331 and episode 336. What you can do is go to the SavvyRadioShow.com, click on lip sync, and type in 331, and you'll pop right up, or 336. And give you a recap real fast as a case. I got this deal, was a referral to a friend, got me the lead. They just started emailing me right through the email. I negotiated, got the price down, 15 G's just through email. And then when I met them on the property, did some more negotiating. And these folks were moving on to greener pastures, and they bought a mobile home park out of the state. And this is how this deal came on. So basically it was a landlord, a couple that were tired of dealing with this house. They probably put too much money into this property, and I was the recipient of their labor. So here's the deal. So here's the final deal, and it sounds all glamorous, right? So if you really got time, 331 is real quick. 336 gives you a little bit more details. But I definitely recommend going back and listening to these two episodes, because I read you exactly my email. I read you exactly my text messages of my correspondence back and forth, how I did the push and pull method, the obligation close. So if you are a rookie at all, or even a veteran, you can get some tips, some nuggets on how I handled this transaction. So it's a good story, and now I am at the final part 3 of this deal. So this is the interesting thing. So one of the things that you need to realize when you're negotiating is the closing time. You know, years ago, I used to be that guy. I have cash, I can close. You know, that's how I was taught as a real estate investor in the beginning. You know, hammer, 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 cash, cash, cash. Even if I didn't have cash, you still act like you can close. Well, the interesting thing, these people made it very clear, and I mean, I could tell in their voice that we have to close by July 5th. Now, that's good, right? Because I'm like, I can close by July 5th. And I mean, I think they gave me 2 or 3 weeks to get that done. I knew my title company could bust it out. If I ask them within a week, they could get it done. 10 days is like no problem. 14 days, absolutely. 3 weeks, there should be no conflict. So I got the money lined up, ready to roll, and then we are trying to close on this date of July 5th, which is very interesting. These folks did not want to give the LLC documents to the closing company. And I was like, man, it halted the deal to the degree where I'm like, I'm going to lose this transaction. I've already ordered an appraisal. I've already got the cash ready to roll from the bank. I am ready to pounce and close on this deal, especially since it's the first of the month. I can get rent too. And it would be like a severe no money down deal. And this is a no money down deal. You can go back and listen to those 2 episodes, 331, 336, and I can break all that down for you. So the big drama in this closing, which is like, these were great people that I'm talking to, but now I got a little skittish. I got a little nervous, and I got to the point where, man, this is not going to close, because these people would not give their LLC documents to the closing company. And at first, I understand amenity, I understand privacy, I understand that, you don't want people to know, a rule of thumb is that you should have your eBay product shipped to your house, you should have them, shipped to your office address, whatever. I have friends that are just really weird about all that type of stuff, but they don't know the websites that I know, and I can find you, right? So I might as well just let it roll. But and so I started really just thinking in my mind, why are they ashamed, I guess, or afraid to show their LLC pump. Well, the first thing that popped in my mind, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this is a nugget for you, is that probably some attorney out there sold them a bill of goods of fear, meaning that we'll redo your LLC and we will do asset protection and we will protect you and no one will know. Well, that's all fine and F and dandy. And I get asset protection. I love asset. That's one of my number one downloads. I interview Bobby Casey overseas, who is a asset protection master, whatever. And it's the number one episode I have downloaded, but on the Savvy Radio Show. And actually, we're almost about to hit 50,000. I'm really juiced about that, 50,000 downloads. But I was like, what's the deal? And so I called some investors, and one investor said to me, which was interesting, that's like illegal. And I was like, whoa, you're a little extreme. Well, I realized, and I'm like, I'm trying to get this deal done, be a liaison between the title company and the seller. Hey, how can we make this work? Is there a way that we can do a blind closing? Is there a way? And the title company is amazing. They're like, we cannot close this deal. They're like, VanCauwenbergh, we cannot close this deal. It's impossible for us not to close this deal without seeing their LLC docs. We want to make sure for clear title where the pay. Oh, I get it, right? Because someone can just give a false name and they don't really own the property, and they got to see the articles of organization. So after all this drama, these people made it clear that they had to close on July 5th, and they're jamming my game up, and they were not closing. So, and I thought that deal busted. I was like, dang, this sucks, man. But nope. What they did was, which is, I don't know if unique or weird, if you've heard of this before, but their corporate title company, which is local, they have a corporate company and they have full-time attorneys, and these folks did not want to email their LLC docs through the email. They did not want to fax them in. They drove their LLC docs all the way up to the corporate office to meet with their attorney to look at them. I don't know what the deal is. And so we can close. So the next day, he went and did that. The next day, title company calls me, hey, we're scheduled to close 9 a.m. on this date. Bang, bang. Great. So I go to closing. First thing right out the gate, like, and this is my fault, and learn from my freaking mistakes. I'm like, okay, hey, I need rent credit and stuff, because I didn't want to bang these people too hard, because this was a deal for me. It was a no money down deal. I didn't want to lose the deal. Then I got this hiccup on this LLC docs, and as soon as I sit down at closing, yeah, the tenant hasn't paid in 2 months. What the? Are you serious? And I'm like, why not? Well, and this is what the dude said to me, and this is why they're selling the property. They can't handle people. And, it's clear what a lease is. It's the law. And they said that for June, we let them use their deposit for the rent. And it's like, I think on the 9th or something I close, or 3 days later after the 5th or something, on the 7th or something, we haven't received July yet. And I was like, you can't get mad, right? Because I don't want to lose the deal. And so that was something that I learned. So not that I learned, I knew that you need to settle all this information on the front end. And a trick that I do is I make the title company become the bad guy. Like, hey, we need the deposit, we need their lease agreement, we need all these amounts and rent credits and stuff. So good news is I forced the rent credit to happen for that month, and we haven't even received it. And then, so I had to deal with this tenant. So already I got this flunky tenant already confused that they've been living for free for 2 months. All of a sudden, super duper VC coming in here saying, dude, we're not playing that game. Either you need to move out. So then after I do all that jazz, I'm like, don't worry, Mr. Blank, I got this under control. I do this all the time. I'll handle it from here. And, and I factor in $1,000 of drama for lost rents, for kicking out the tenant, eviction, damage. I just do that as a rule of thumb. So then I'm like, okay, I need the keys. And the guy goes, I lost the keys. What? So I'm at closing. The guy has to close on a certain day. No LLC docs, no deposit, no rents, lost the keys. And then later, I was like, no worries, no big deal. In my mind, I'm going to change the locks anyway into our system. So, whatever. And then eventually the guy, this is funny. The guy said, oh, the cat knocked him off my drawer at the house. I was like, I my ears went to deaf when he said that. So with all that said and done, no keys. I finally got the keys from the guy. This guy is a wonderful man. There's nothing wrong with him. It's just, this is the mentality of, if you want to be successful in what you're doing, you need to be all things to that, focus on that one thing. So I do this closing. I'm at the closing table. Everything's good. And you will not believe what was the next thing. I was like, this has never happened to me. He was pitching me, this seller of this property was asking me for money to invest in his new mobile home deal out of state. Wow. I was actually impressed. First of all, I was impressed, not impressed, but the way he asked me was amazing. Like, he was writing it out. This is your return. This is where the money's going. I mean, we're in the middle of a closing. I mean, like, he didn't have the deposit, didn't have the rent credit, didn't have the keys. He's got the kahunas to say, by the way, we'll you return on investment if you give us X amount of money out of your IRA, or if you use cash, this is your return. I'm like, amazing. I was just amazed. And I could tell that he was completely trained by a coaching company that trained him on how to syndicate money. Amazing. So I don't know if this episode is any benefit to you at all, but the cool thing about this episode is that it's the end of the episode of part 3 of a deal. So go back 331 episode and episode 336, and you can get the gist. And now you got the closure. Anyway, my name is Stephen VanCauwenbergh. Yep, I wrote the book, The Savvy Landlord. I'm excited that you get to tune in, that you made it for 12 minutes of nonsense of the life of a real estate investor. If you like this style, let me know. I can do more random information or a mix of more concrete information. Got some great content coming up soon. Listen to our past content on all the past guests that we have at the SavvyRadioShow.com. But all that is great, but nothing is good enough if you don't buy assets. That's right. Save your money, borrow the money, ask your aunt, do whatever you can. Get that IRA working. If you can't get that IRA working, I'll help you. I'll assist you. But what you need to do, no matter what you do, is go out and buy assets.
Thanks for listening to The Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at SavvyRadioShow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.